Welcome to Ghost Stories. I am your host and licensed paranormal interviewer, Arthur Mansley. Join us as we traverse across the continental United States, interviewing ghouls, ghosts, goblins, and everything in between in an effort to bridge the gap between monstrosity and humanity and demystify the mystic. Today,
Hi, I'm Beth. I'm also here.
Yes, and we have my lovely and ever so helpful assistant and intern, Beth Oglesby, with us as always.
You got my nice
Yes,
name.
I'm learning after last week's thorough thrashing you gave me. I've decided to do my studying.
You're doing so good.
Why, thank you. Anyways, back to the topic at hand. Today we find ourselves in Scottsdale, Arizona, interviewing a fearsome creature that, well, I've never even laid eyes upon myself. Would you care to introduce yourself?
Thank you very much. My name is Lars, and I am a Chupacabra. Maybe you've heard of us. We are part of the cryptid community, but we are often misunderstood. And I've decided to come on here today and just clear the air and help people really understand what a Chupacabra is.
A noble pursuit, I would say. In your opinion, what do you think is the number one greatest misunderstanding that the general public has of chupacabras?
Well, frankly, Arthur, Art, do you mind if I call you Art or just Arthur?
Well, typically that's reserved for lovers, but I'll make an exception for you.
Why, thank you. Beth, is that all right?
I am also here.
All right, thank you, Beth. So one of the biggest misunderstandings about the Chupacabra is a lot of people don't even know exactly what we look like. Now, if you do a quick search on the internet, you'll find that of Chupacabras, you'll find that there are two camps of ideas of what we look like. Now, one is a reptilian, lizard-like, almost alien-like creature with spines and a tail. And
generally just distasteful all around.
Yes, thank you for noticing. I am quite distasteful.
Yes.
And then the other camp is these feral, hound, canine-like creatures that you'll find many photo evidence of farmers and other people, wilderness survivors, finding bodies and taking pictures of them. And I am here to debunk that, because those, in fact, are false.
Really?
It is correct. They are not chupacabras.
Well, what could they possibly be then, if not a terrible demon chupacabra such as yourself?
I'll tell you. They are, in fact, just your regular wild dogs that have caught mange.
Mangy dogs, really?
Yeah, they're nothing more than your average coyote or a wolf, or even just a little labradoodle that caught a terrible case of the scurvy.
Really, and that's an epidemic that's affecting the chupacabra population and the way they are perceived by the general public.
It is, and it's quite upsetting because Chupacabra, the word chupacabra means that it means goat sucker. And
delicious.
You know, it is a delicacy, and I'll get into that later. But what people don't understand is lots of animals eat goats. You know, they're sort of like just a very basic diet for any animal.
And very available. They're all over the world.
They are very available. You're absolutely right. And what a lot of people don't understand is they see these mangy dogs eating goats and such, and they're like, oh, well, that must be a chupacabra. When in reality, it's just some crazy farmer who has been didn't let the gate open and got some coyotes to come in, or even oftentimes it's just their dog that they don't happen to take care of, and they blame it on the chupacabra, and they point it out as a chupacabra, whereas that is completely false.
So would you say that the chupacabra species as a whole has a kind of a conflict with the canine species because of this?
Some may, but me, in fact, I fight for the rights of these poor little animals. They are mistreated. They are seen as monsters and heinous when really they just need a little bit of love. and recently I've actually been I've been volunteering at some annual animal sanctuaries to try and help out these dogs that just have a little bit of a cold, and I'm trying to help them out.
It's a very noble pursuit, and not one I typically would attribute to one such as a beastly creature such as yourself.
Well, don't get me wrong, I still like scaring humans.
Oh, really?
Yes, but I don't want to give these poor creatures a bad rap,
You mentioned you volunteer at shelters, and now scaring humans. Is scaring humans your profession, or is it just a hobby? How do you make a living as a chupacabra?
Well, it is more of just a hobby. See, I come from humble beginnings. My parents, in fact, they were just regular hunter-gatherers, which is another misconception about the chupacabra. Everyone believes that our main dietary source is the blood of goats.
Yes,
but,
it's in the name.
Correct. But in fact, we are omnivores. Now, I have been to a couple cookouts, and I think my uncle may have brought a goat carcass for us to extract the blood from. But, it's not really for me. I prefer to eat, plants, nuts, berries, that sort of thing.
So a more vegetarian diet.
Yeah, yes, I will cheat every now and then. I
Don't we all?
Of course, but yeah, I don't really partake too much in the blood of animals, but it is a popular delicacy.
Is this a choice more for the welfare of the animals, or just a personal dislike of the general flavor and vibe of the goat blood?
It's a little gamey, I must admit. Not really for me. I'm more about the white meat, chickens and pigs. That's more my speed. But again, I mainly stick to nuts and berries and all that good stuff.
It's mostly the flavor that's a turnoff for you.
Yes.
To turn you away from the goat blood that is so core to your species. Is this a strange viewpoint to have? Are you alone in your quasi-vegetarianism, or?
It depends. I mean, like I said, my uncle, he's a carnivore. He's like goat. Whereas my parents, they, like I said, they were hunter-gatherers. They more taught me about, like plants and where to find a good blueberry and
Where do you find the good blueberries?
Well, that's a great question. What we usually do is we usually have to go to the berry patches. I will admit I have stolen berries from farmers before, but these are the same. Only the farmers that clearly are mistreating their animals.
With the mangy dogs.
Exactly. So usually we'll still steal the high quality blueberries and the blackberries and the raspberries from farmers. You really don't find too many very like nicely sized fruits and such in the wild. It's usually like scraps or it's those poison berries that look really good, but your parents tell you not to eat.
Yes, I've been had by a few of those in my day.
Oh yeah. No, I've been foaming at the mouth and rolling on the floor a couple times, but my parents have saved me, so I'm very lucky to have them in my life.
I had to save Arthur last week.
That was a mistake on my end. It looked a lot like a boysenberry. Little did I know it was a poison berry, but...
Oh, yeah, you can get really mistaken with the P and the B,
Right. Mm-hmm. It's a very common mistake, Beth.
You thought we were running out of food, and we definitely were not. We're fine.
Look, I missed the whole box of macaroni and cheese shelf thing. I panicked, ran out looking for food. It's a common story, as I'm sure you're aware, Lars.
Oh, yeah, I've had to eat my fair share of box of macaroni and cheese a couple times.
You've mentioned multiple times now your parents and your uncle. What is the typical family structure for a chupacabra look like? Is it individuals, or do you stay in a pack, or... explain a little.
Well, just like any normal human family, we are typically raised until we are of age, usually around 16 to 17 years of age, once we've developed our claws and our teeth, and yes, sharpened them properly. We are raised by our parents, and then after that point, they sort of they sort of just leave you out, like one day you'll just wake up and they'll be gone, because they figure you're ready to survive on your own. And that's fair. That's fair.
So are you a nomadic peoples then?
Yes. We typically, I do live a rather lonely lifestyle, but it's one that really suits me, I don't mind it. Like I said, I do venture into the city every now and then to scare the bejesus out of a couple of people here and there, but that's really just for me. It's not for the company.
And that's just for fun. You generate pleasure from terrifying people.
Correct. Back to your earlier question when you asked me what I do for a living.
Yes.
So, I am trying to gain a little bit of clout, as the kids call it. I definitely want to spread the name of the Chupacabra to a more wider base, so I could do scaring as a full-time thing. But right now, I typically work at Denny's. I work pretty late nights. I work the late night shift. That way, the customers, they're so drunk and hungover that they don't really recognize that a Chupacabra is serving them their burgers and pancakes.
Oh, so they have you in the front of the house, not in the back, flipping burgers and pancakes.
Yeah, I did apply for the cook position, but they saw my background as mainly hunter-gatherer and that I don't have really too much experience cooking. But they did see, my work, scaring people and communicating with people, so they figured I'd be pretty good as a waiter.
It strangely makes sense. If I'm sitting eating a delicious Denny's breakfast and then all of a sudden I have the bejesus scared out of me, frankly, I think I would just be more hungry.
Yes, and it does help for sure. I mean, the tips aren't great, but people do tend to get a little hangry at the late hours of the night, and sometimes you gotta be like, hey, stop.
So you said that you live a nomadic lifestyle, right? Yet you're working at Denny's and you're getting tips. Where does your money go? What does a Chupacabra need to purchase?
I buy all the fun stuff like sneakers and recently I've been trying to, like I said, gain a little bit of clout, so I bought myself a phone so I can have a TikTok account.
Oh, really?
What's your TikTok account name? Tell us all, please.
Yes, absolutely. My TikTok account name is at Chupalupa.
Chupalupa.
Yeah, kind of like the chalupa, which is one of my favorite dishes at Taco Bell. So yeah, I figured it'd be a nice play on words there, and I on there I do like a lot of like fun dance moves, and
really,
and I post prank videos, like sometimes me scaring people and stuff.
So you're trying to breach into the creator space.
Yes.
Right, become an influencer, as it was.
Yes. It was actually recommended to me by a friend. I'm sure you've heard of the elusive Bigfoot.
You know Bigfoot.
Yeah, well, I ran into him at a convention once. He was signing autographs, and I sort of slipped him my telephone number. And
I've been trying to bag an interview with that creature for years.
Yeah, he's a slippery little guy, Yeah, but yeah, so we started a little conversation. I was like, hey, I really want to like try and grow my brand here. What's the best way to do that? And he was like, well, you just got to be honest with your viewers. You clearly don't have. Like, the reason why people love these mangy dogs so much is because there's so much, like, footage of them and video and pictures and stuff. And you gotta put yourself out there. Just a little bit, though. You still want the footage to be pretty blurry and stuff like that. So,
leave a little bit up to the imagination, as it were.
Exactly.
See, that's why we're a podcast, not a video thing. Nobody knows what Arthur Mansley and Beth Oglesby look like. It's a mystery. I believe what is thought of in the mind is better than what is in reality.
Arthur, you put your photo on the website.
Wait.
It's like a clear photo. Like it's a photo of you and the RV.
If I'm going to be completely honest here, I may have misuploaded that image. It may have been intended for a different account entirely. I'm desperately lonely, Beth, as you recall.
Sorry to hear
I have
that.
a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead, Beth.
How long are Chupacabras expected to live? Like, what's your lifespan?
That's dreary.
No, it's all right. It's all right. I'm very accepting of death. I've done a lot of soul searching, and we typically live to be like around 30, 35. Yeah.
And reaching maturity at 16, as you said.
Yeah. Yes, I am currently middle aged, which is scary. it's scary, but I've definitely come to accept it. I remember, being in my early 10s, and being like, oh, what am I doing with my life? Just being very existential and wondering about, what is the afterlife for a chupacabra. But I've come to terms with it, and I've decided I just really need to live my best life here and now and be doing the things that I want to do. So I've gone full-time into scaring locals.
Well, that's wonderful. Do chupacabras, just as a species or a collective entity, have a concept of the afterlife? Is there a heaven, a hell, some sort of purgatory, or...?
Yeah, so my parents, they raised me and they taught me about purgatory and how, like, once a chupacabra dies, what we do is we chase around all the souls of the humans in purgatory, trying to catch them and basically stop them from going to their afterlife. And while that does sound enticing, I just, I don't know if I being like as someone that has stepped out into the world and seen everything, I question my religion at times, and of course I'll go to service when my parents want me to.
A chupacabra service.
Yeah, chupacabra.
Chupacabras are organized enough to have not only a religion but churches of some kind to hold service in.
Yes. We don't really have buildings. Typically, we do it by a swamp or a little creek.
So very pagan.
Yes, very pagan, and we're not too great at time management, so not everyone can always be there at the same time. But usually, if you just happen to find a chupacabra pastor out in the wild, that's a service right then and there. You just start church right then.
How does one identify a chupacabra pastor versus just a normal chupacabra? Most people haven't even seen an chupacabra.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The way to identify them is they usually have on some puka shell necklaces, some little shells that they find by the creek or river or swamp, just like some of the wildlife, and that is their holy symbol right there.
So you can identify a pastor chupacabra just by his fashion sense.
Absolutely, yes. Fashion is very big in the chupacabra community, as I was talking to you about my sneakers earlier.
Yes, I can see you are very, very fly. Was that the right use of that, Beth?
No.
You're very dapper. I'll just go with a word I'm more confident in.
Yeah, that's probably best.
Well, I thank you. I appreciate that a lot.
I do notice that that's the only article of clothing you wear. Is that a personal choice, or is it just that's the only thing that fits?
Well, yeah, I mean, chupacabras have been known to wear all different kinds of articles of clothing. But for me, personally, jumping out of trees and scaring people, it's a lot easier to do that when you have a full free range of motion, So I typically just wear my shoes and nothing else.
Well, that's very practical.
Yes, well, thank you.
So you've said you're middle-aged and nearing the end of your time here upon this plane. This may be a bit personal, but are you searching or have you found love?
That is very personal.
Well, I just want to know. I feel very connected to Lars, and his happiness is very important to me. So, Lars, have you found your soulmate in the chupacabra community or outside? That's okay too. We don't judge here.
Well, thank you. There was like I said, I was talking to a Bigfoot for a little bit, and I did happen to get in touch with one of his family members, Lightfoot, and she's I probably shouldn't have said her name out loud.
It's fine. We can edit that in post.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
we have the ability to do that.
Thank you. But yeah, we've been chatting it up. Like I said, I got the phone now, so I can message her back and forth, and she reads them. I'm waiting for a response, but I think it's just like the cell service. Probably.
They're very shy. Typically, the Bigfoot people.
Yeah.
They don't like to communicate very often.
Yeah, but I do feel a kindred spirit with her, and I don't want people to be thinking that I'm just interested in her to gain some of Bigfoot's clout. I really want to go out and be somebody on my own. I'm not trying to be a nepo baby like the Yeti. All right.
Don't get me started on the Yeti. I interviewed him in '83.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Terrible manners.
Oh really?
Oh yes, and his breath smelled like a dung heap. Ugh.
Yeah.
Are you dating a Bigfoot? Because you say you try to message a lot of girls too.
I am currently single, unhappily so, but there's someone out there for everybody,
You've
even
never
for
had
our
a-
chupacabra.
Absolutely.
You've never had a response either.
Would you look at the time? We're nearing the end of our time here. Thank you, Beth, for reminding me.
Oh, yeah.
Lars, I'm going to present you the final question. I present this question to everybody that we bring on our show. I'm going to present you a soapbox to stand upon and address the youth of our humble nation, America. What would you like to say to the youth? This is open mic. Say whatever comes to your soul and your heart.
I just want to say to the youth out there, don't believe everything you see on the internet, because what you think might be a chupacabra might just be a poor mange-ridden dog that is being abused by a farmer searching for their minute of fame, you know. And that might seem redundant coming from me, somebody that is trying to gain recognition in the cryptid community, but I do this for the entire chupacabra race. You know, I love my people, and I love my heritage and where I come from, and I just want to be able to share that with everybody.
Very, very touching. You know, when you booked this interview with a chupacabra, Beth, I wasn't expecting such a touching and warm individual. I was expecting something much more fierce and more fangy and claws and stuff.
Well, I can be like that, though.
I believe me. I believe you. But it's your soft spot for animals. It really warms the cockles of my heart.
Well, thank you.
Cockles is a word, Beth. I saw that look.
Mm-hmm. I think I've read it in the dictionary. I read the dictionary frequently.
Oh, that's delightful. Well, anyways, that is the end of our time here on Ghost Stories. I have been your host, Arthur Mansley. And join us again next week when we interview yet another strange creature. Thank you.